The divorce papers hit the marble counter with a slap that echoed through the empty penthouse. "Sign them," Seo-jun said. Amanda stared at the documents, then at her husband's face. He looked like a stranger. Cold. Unreachable. Nothing like the man who'd whispered promises against her skin 3 nights ago. "I don't understand." "There's nothing to understand." This was a mistake. Her hand moved to her stomach, an unconscious gesture, protective. She didn't know yet. Wouldn't know for another 2 weeks that the nausea wasn't stress, that the exhaustion meant something. "A mistake," she repeated slowly. "You knew what this was." "I thought," her voice cracked. "We're married, Seo-jun." "A mistake," he said again, and this time his eyes were dead. "Sign the papers, Amanda. Go back to America. Forget this ever happened. Forget you." "Yes." She picked up the pen. Her hands shook so badly she could barely hold it. "Did you ever love me?" she whispered. Seo-jun looked at her for a long moment. Then, no. The lie tasted like poison on his tongue. But if it kept her alive, he'd swallow it forever. Amanda signed. 8 months later, she'd learned 3 things. The divorce was fake. She was still his wife. And the baby she'd been carrying that day, the one kicking against her ribs right now as Seo-jun walked into her bakery like a ghost, was his son. 8 months later. The bell above the bakery door chimed. Amanda didn't look up. She was elbow-deep in dough, kneading out the tension that had lived in her shoulders since she'd returned to Seoul 3 months ago. The rhythm helped push, fold, turn. Push, fold, turn. Flour dusted her forearms, stuck to the small beads of sweat at her hairline. The baby kicked against her ribs, and she paused, one hand pressed to the swell of her stomach. 7 months along. She could feel him moving more now, restless, like he could sense her anxiety even from inside. "Just a minute," she called toward the front. She wiped her hands on her apron and turned. Kang Seo-jun stood in the doorway. Time didn't stop. That's the thing nobody tells you about seeing someone who destroyed you. The world keeps moving. The fluorescent lights still hummed. The oven still ticked. Her heart still beat, even though for a second, she wished it wouldn't. He looked exactly the same. Black coat, tailored so sharp it could cut. Hair pushed back from his face, still too perfect, still too cold. His eyes found hers, then dropped slowly, deliberately, to her stomach. She watched his expression do nothing at all. Then everything at once. Amanda. Her name in his mouth felt like a weapon. "Get out." "Is it mine?" She laughed. The sound came out wrong, jagged and bitter. "You don't get to ask me that. I'm asking. And I'm telling you to leave." Seo-jun stepped inside. The door closed behind him. 2 men in dark suits appeared on the sidewalk outside, flanking the entrance like sentries. Amanda's hands curled into fists, flowers still caught beneath her nails. "How long have you been back in Seoul?" "That's none of your business." "How far along are you?" Leave. 7 months, he said, his voice flat, factual. "You're 7 months pregnant." Her jaw tightened. She hated that he could still read her body like that, like he'd memorized every detail and filed it away for later use. "Congratulations," she said. "You can count. Why didn't you tell me?" The question was so absurd she wanted to laugh again. Instead, she turned back to the counter, gripping the edge until her knuckles went pale. The baby kicked, harder this time, like even he could feel the tension suffocating the room. "You made it very clear," Amanda said slowly, carefully, "that I was a mistake. That I didn't belong in your life. That I should go back to America and forget you ever existed. That's not. You looked me in the eyes and told me I was naive to think you could love someone like me." Silence. She turned around. Seo-jun hadn't moved, but something in his face had shifted. "Not much. Just enough. So I left," Amanda continued. "Like you wanted. And then 2 weeks later, I found out I was pregnant. But you know what? I didn't come running back. Because you made your choice, Seo-jun. You chose your family. Your empire. Whatever the hell it is you do in the dark. You don't understand." "No. I understand perfectly." Her voice cracked, and she hated herself for it. "I understand that I was stupid enough to marry a man I barely knew. Stupid enough to think he meant it when he said he wanted a life with me. And stupid enough to believe that love was enough." Seo-jun's hands flexed at his sides. "If you'd stayed, I'd be dead." The words hung between them, heavy and immovable. Your cousin made that very clear, Amanda said. Min-jae. He showed up at the penthouse right after you left. Told me exactly what happens to liabilities in your family. Something dark flickered across Seo-jun's face. What did he say to you? Does it matter? Asterisk, what did he say? Asterisk. Amanda pressed her lips together. She could still see Kang Min-jae standing in that living room, hands in his pockets, smiling like he was delivering good news. Asterisk, Seo-jun's father wanted me to make sure you understood the situation. You're a complication. And the Kang family doesn't keep complications around for long. If you care about your life or your family's safety back in the States, you'll disappear quietly. Seo-jun already agreed. He signed the papers, didn't he? Asterisk. He said if I didn't leave, Amanda said quietly, people I loved would get hurt. And that you agreed it was for the best. Seo-jun went very still. He was lying. Was he? Amanda's laugh was hollow. Because you signed the divorce papers right in front of me. You didn't even hesitate. To protect you. Funny way of showing it. My father gave me a choice. Seo-jun's voice was low, controlled, but something underneath it vibrated with barely restrained fury. Divorce you publicly, make you hate me, ensure you never came back, or he'd make you disappear. Permanently. So yes, I signed the papers. I said things I didn't mean. I let you walk out of my life thinking I was a monster. Because the alternative was putting you in a shallow grave somewhere outside the city. Amanda stared at him. The baby kicked again, and she put a hand to her side, steadying herself against the counter. You should have told me. You would have stayed. You should have trusted me. I did. Seo-jun took a step closer. I trusted you to survive. I trusted you to hate me enough to leave and never look back. Well, Amanda's throat was tight. Mission accomplished. Seo-jun's jaw worked. He looked like he wanted to say something else, but the door chimed again. A woman in her 50s entered, carrying a reusable shopping bag. She smiled at Amanda, then noticed Seo-jun and hesitated. Am I interrupting? No, Amanda said quickly. He was just leaving. The woman glanced between them, clearly unconvinced, but moved toward the display case anyway. Amanda forced herself to breathe, to smile, to step around the counter and greet her like nothing was wrong. Seo-jun didn't move. She could feel his eyes on her as she boxed up red bean buns and sweet rice cakes, as she made small talk about the weather and accepted payment with hands that trembled just slightly. The woman left with a polite bow, and the door chimed again. Silence. You can't stay in Seoul, Seo-jun said. Amanda turned slowly. Excuse me. It's not safe. I don't care what you think is safe. The Choi family knows about you. The name meant nothing to her. But the way he said it, cold, final, made her stomach drop. They're my father's enemies, Seo-jun continued. And they've been waiting for an opening. A weakness. You. His eyes dropped to her stomach again. You're both a weakness. I'm not your problem anymore. You're exactly my problem. No. Amanda's voice shook. I'm not going anywhere with you. I have a job. A place to live. A life that doesn't involve your family or your enemies or whatever insane power struggle you're caught up in. Amanda. Get out. He didn't move. I mean it, Seo-jun. Leave. I don't want your protection. I don't want your money. I don't want anything from you. That's not your decision to make. The audacity of it, the sheer, breathtaking arrogance, hit her like a slap. Watch me make it, she said. Seo-jun's expression didn't change. But he pulled a phone from his coat pocket and made a call, his eyes never leaving hers. Bring the car around back, he said in Korean. Then, to Amanda, pack what you need. We're leaving in 10 minutes. Are you insane? Probably. I'm not going anywhere with you. Yes, Seo-jun said quietly, you are. If you're already hooked and need to see how Amanda escapes or doesn't, drop a comment, trust, or run, and let me know if you're Team Amanda or Team Seo-jun. Don't forget to subscribe because this story is about to get dangerous. Amanda's hands wouldn't stop shaking. She stood behind the counter, staring at Seo-jun like he'd just suggested they burn the bakery down together. You can't just. I can. He pocketed his phone. And I am. This is kidnapping. This is protection. I don't want your protection. The words came out louder than she intended. Seo-jun didn't flinch, but his eyes sharpened, focused on her in that unnerving way he had, like he could see through skin and bone straight into the mess of fear and fury churning inside her. 3 days ago, he said, voice level, 2 of Choi's men followed you from the subway to this bakery. Yesterday, someone took photos of you through the window. This morning, your landlord received an offer to buy the building. Cash. Triple the market value. Amanda's breath caught. How do you know that? Because I've had people watching you since the day you came back. The floor seemed to tilt. You've been spying on me? I've been keeping you alive. I didn't ask you to. You didn't have to. She wanted to scream. Wanted to throw something at his perfect, infuriating face. Instead, she gripped the counter harder, nails digging into the wood. Why would they even care about me? Amanda asked. You made it very clear we're not together anymore. I'm nothing to you. Something flickered in Seo-jun's expression, brief, almost imperceptible. They don't know that. Then tell them. It wouldn't matter. He stepped closer and Amanda fought the instinct to back away. The Choi family has been waiting for an opportunity to destabilize my father's organization. If they can use you or the baby as leverage, they will. And they won't hesitate to hurt you to make a point. The baby kicked, hard enough that Amanda winced. Her hand went to her stomach automatically, and Seo-jun's eyes followed the movement. For a second, just a second, his mask slipped. She saw something raw there. Something almost like longing. Then it was gone. This is your fault, she said quietly. I know. Everything that's happening right now, it's because of you. Yes. And now you want me to just trust you? Follow you? Let you drag me back into your world after you spent 8 months making sure I'd never come back. Seo-jun was silent for a moment. Then, I'm not asking you to trust me. I'm telling you there's no other option. There's always another option. Not one that keeps you breathing. The words were cold, factual, and terrifying precisely because he meant them. Before Amanda could respond, her phone buzzed on the counter. She glanced at the screen. A text from Mrs. Han, the bakery's owner. Asterisk, are you okay? There are men outside. Asterisk. Amanda's stomach dropped. She moved to the window, careful to stay back from the glass. 2 black sedans were parked across the street now. 4 men stood on the sidewalk, not even pretending to be casual. One of them met her eyes through the window and smiled. She stepped back. They're not mine, Seo-jun said. Amanda's pulse hammered. What do they want? To see what I'll do. And what are you going to do? He pulled his phone out again, typed something quickly. Within seconds, 3 more black cars appeared at the end of the block. Seo-jun's men, she recognized the one who'd been standing outside earlier, emerged and formed a line on the sidewalk between the bakery and the Choi family's people. Starting a war in the middle of Itaewon? Amanda's voice was sharp. Very subtle. They started it the moment they came here. And I'm just supposed to accept that my life is now a crime drama? Seo-jun looked at her. Really looked, for the first time since he'd walked through the door. His expression was unreadable, but there was something underneath it, something that almost looked like regret. No, he said quietly. You're supposed to let me fix this. You can't fix this. I can try. Amanda closed her eyes. Breathed. The baby shifted, pressing against her ribs, and she felt the weight of everything, the exhaustion, the fear, the suffocating reality that Seo-jun was right. She wasn't safe. And running wouldn't change that. If I go with you, she said slowly, I'm not staying. Just until this situation is handled. Then I'm gone. Agreed. And you don't get to make decisions for me. Seo-jun hesitated. Within reason. No, not within reason. At all. His jaw tightened, but he nodded. Amanda grabbed her coat from the back room, shoved her phone and wallet into her bag. Her hands were still shaking. She typed a quick message to Mrs. Han, asterisk family emergency, I'll explain later asterisk, and sent it before she could overthink. When she came back out, Seo-jun was waiting by the door. There's a car in the alley, he said. We go out the back. Of course there is. He led her through the kitchen, past the industrial ovens and stainless steel counters, to a door she'd only ever used for taking out trash. It opened into a narrow alley that smelled like old grease and rain. A black SUV idled at the far end, windows tinted, engine running. Seo-jun's hand found the small of her back, guiding her forward. She hated how familiar the touch felt. Hated more that some traitorous part of her didn't pull away. The SUV's back door opened. Seo-jun gestured for her to get in. Amanda hesitated. This was it, the moment where she either climbed into that car and let him back into her life, or turned around and faced whatever consequences came next alone. She thought about the men outside the bakery, the photos, the cash offer on her building. She thought about the baby, and what kind of mother she'd be if she let pride get them both killed. She got in the car. Seo-jun slid in beside her, and the door shut with a heavy, final sound. The driver didn't look back, just pulled out of the alley smoothly, merging into traffic like they were heading to brunch instead of fleeing a potential ambush. Amanda stared out the window, watching Itaewon blur past. The streets she'd walked every day for 3 months, the life she'd carefully rebuilt from nothing, it was already gone. Where are we going? She asked. Somewhere safe. That's not an answer. It's the only one I have right now. She turned to look at him. Seo-jun sat perfectly still, hands resting on his knees, expression carved from stone. But there was tension in his shoulders, in the set of his jaw. He wasn't as calm as he wanted her to believe. You really think they'll come after me? I know they will. Because I'm pregnant. Because you're mine. The possessiveness in his voice made something twist in her chest. I'm not yours. Not anymore. Seo-jun finally looked at her. The divorce wasn't real, Amanda. She blinked. What? The papers you signed. They were fake. You're still my wife. The world tilted again. That's impossible. I watched you sign them. You watched me sign documents my cousin forged. His voice was flat, emotionless. The marriage was never dissolved. Legally, you're still Amanda Kong. She couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. You're lying. I'm not. Why would you? How could you not tell me? Because I didn't know. Seo-jun's hands curled into fists. Not until 3 weeks ago, when my father's lawyer reviewed the family records. Min-jae forged the documents to make it look like we'd divorced. He wanted you gone, but he also wanted leverage over me. As long as we're married, anything that happens to you reflects on the family. It's a liability he could use. Amanda pressed a hand to her mouth. She was going to be sick. So I'm not just your ex-wife, she said slowly. I'm your actual wife. And I'm 7 months pregnant with your child. And your family's enemies know about me. Yes. Jesus Christ. I'm sorry. She laughed wild, unhinged. You're sorry, Seo-jun. You've ruined my life. Twice. He didn't argue. Just watched her with those dark, unreadable eyes. The baby kicked again, and Amanda's hand dropped to her stomach. She felt the shape of a tiny foot pressing against her palm, insistent and real. What's your plan? She asked quietly. Keep you alive. Deal with the Choi family. Figure out the rest after. That's a terrible plan. It's the only one I have. The car turned onto a highway, leaving Seoul behind. Amanda watched the city lights fade in the rearview mirror and wondered if she'd ever see them again. How long? She asked. How long what? How long have you known I was back? Seo-jun was quiet for a moment. Since the day you arrived. 3 months. Yes. And you just watched. From a distance. Yes. Why didn't you come sooner? He turned to look at her, and for the first time, she saw something break through the ice. Because I thought you'd be safer if I stayed away. And now? Now I know I was wrong. Okay, I need to know, are you furious at Seo-jun right now, or do you think he's actually trying to protect her? And comment below, do you think Amanda should forgive him, or make him suffer? Hit subscribe because trust me, it's about to get so much worse before it gets better. The safe house wasn't what Amanda expected. She'd imagined something industrial, concrete walls, fluorescent lights, the kind of place you see in movies where people get interrogated. Instead, Seo-jun's driver pulled up to a villa perched on a cliff overlooking the East Sea, 2 hours outside Seoul. White stone, floor-to-ceiling windows, surrounded by pine trees and silence. Beautiful. Isolated. Trap. This is where you're hiding me? Amanda asked as the car stopped. This is where you'll be safe. It's the middle of nowhere. Exactly. She climbed out slowly, one hand braced against the car door, the other supporting her lower back. The baby had been restless the entire drive, kicking and shifting like he could sense her anxiety. 7 months pregnant, and she still wasn't used to the weight of him, the constant presence. Seo-jun's men were already moving, unloading bags, checking perimeters, doing whatever it is armed security does when their boss brings home his pregnant wife. Ex-wife. Wife. Whatever she was now. Seo-jun appeared beside her, close enough that she caught the scent of his cologne. Something expensive and cedar dark, achingly familiar. "Can you walk?" he asked. "I'm pregnant, not dying." His hand hovered near her elbow anyway, not quite touching. She hated that she noticed. Hated more that some small, humiliating part of her wanted to lean into it. She didn't. The villa's interior was exactly as pristine as the outside, minimalist furniture, neutral tones, abstract art that probably cost more than Amanda's entire life. The kind of place designed to be admired, not lived in. "Your room is upstairs," Seo-jun said. "Second door on the left." "My room. Unless you'd prefer to share." Amanda shot him a look sharp enough to draw blood. "I'd prefer to be back in Seoul living my life." "That's not an option right now." "Because you said so." "Because the Choi family has a contact in the police department, 3 judges on payroll, and a reputation for making problems disappear. Permanently." He met her eyes. "So yes. Because I said so." She wanted to argue. Wanted to throw his arrogance back in his face and storm out. But she was exhausted, her back hurt, and the baby chose that exact moment to kick her bladder. "Where's the bathroom?" she asked instead. "Upstairs." "And sit." Of course it was. She made her way up the floating staircase, gripping the railing tighter than necessary. The second door opened into a bedroom that looked like it belonged in an architecture magazine, king bed with white linens, sitting area by the window, attached bathroom in marble and chrome. Amanda locked the door, leaned against it, and finally let herself fall apart. Not crying. She was past crying. Just breathing. Trying to reconcile the fact that 8 months ago she'd been married to a man she loved, and now she was his prisoner in a cliffside villa, carrying his child, still legally his wife without even knowing it. The universe had a sick sense of humor. She splashed cold water on her face, changed into the cotton dress she'd shoved in her bag, and lay down on the bed. Just for a minute. Just to rest her eyes. She woke to knocking. "Amanda." Seo-jun's voice, muffled through the door. She sat up too fast, head spinning. The room was darker now, late afternoon sun slanting through the windows. She'd been asleep for over an hour. "What?" she called. "Dinner's ready." "I'm not hungry." "You need to eat." "I'll eat when I'm hungry." Silence. Then, "The baby needs you to eat." Amanda closed her eyes. Of course he'd go there. She opened the door. Seo-jun stood in the hallway, still wearing the same black shirt and slacks, looking unfairly put together while she felt like a disaster held together with spite and exhaustion. "Fine," she said. "But I'm eating in my room." "No." "Excuse me. We're eating together. Downstairs." "You don't get to tell me." "I'm not telling you." His voice was quiet, measured. "I'm asking. Please." The please surprised her enough that she followed him down. The dining table was set for 2 simple white plates, real silverware, a spread of food that looked suspiciously like someone had gone to a lot of trouble. Mayak guk, grilled fish, seasoned vegetables, fresh rice. Amanda's stomach betrayed her with a low growl. Seo-jun pulled out a chair. She ignored the gesture and sat across from him instead. They ate in silence. Or rather, Amanda ate while Seo-jun watched her with an intensity that made her want to throw something at him. "Stop staring," she said finally. "You've lost weight." "I'm 7 months pregnant." "That's not how it works." "Your face is thinner." "You're not taking care of yourself." "Maybe because I've been working 60-hour weeks trying to survive in a foreign country alone." Seo-jun's jaw tightened. "You didn't have to be alone." "Yes, I did." "You made sure of that. To protect you." "Stop saying that like it justifies everything." Amanda set her chopsticks down, appetite gone. "You don't get to make unilateral decisions about my life and call it protection. You don't get to lie to me, divorce me, fake divorce me, let me think you wanted nothing to do with me, and then show up 8 months later acting like you're some kind of hero. I'm not a hero." Finally, something we agree on. Seo-jun was quiet for a long moment. Then, "My father is dying." Amanda froze. "Liver cancer," he continued, voice flat. 6 months, maybe less. The family is fracturing. My uncle wants to take over. Min Jae is making moves to position himself as the successor. And the Choi family knows all of this. They're waiting for us to tear ourselves apart so they can move in. Why are you telling me this? Because you asked why I made the choices I did. He met her eyes. When my father found out about you, he wasn't angry. He was terrified. Not of you, of what you represented. A weakness. A way for our enemies to hurt us. He gave me an ultimatum because he thought he was protecting me. Protecting the family. And you just went along with it. What was I supposed to do? For the first time, real emotion cracked through Seo Jun's composure. Let him send someone to kill you? Let Min Jae arrange an accident? You think I didn't know what would happen if I refused? You could have told me the truth. And then what? You stay, and we both pretend everything's fine while my family plots your murder? You think I could live with that? Watching you every second, wondering if today's the day someone gets through my defenses. So instead you broke my heart and sent me away pregnant and alone. Yes, the word hung between them, brutal in its honesty. I made the only choice I could live with, Seo Jun said quietly. I let you hate me. I let you think I was a monster. Because at least you were alive to hate me. Amanda's throat was tight. That's not love. No, it's not. He looked away. But it's all I knew how to give you. She wanted to stay angry. Wanted to hold on to the fury that had kept her going for 8 months. But sitting across from him now, seeing the exhaustion in his eyes, the weight he carried, she couldn't. Your father, she said. Does he know about the baby? Not yet. What happens when he finds out? Seo Jun's expression went dark. Nothing. Because I won't let it. You can't control everything. I can try. That's not an answer. It's the only one I have. They sat in silence. Outside, the sun sank lower, painting the sea gold and red. I don't forgive you, Amanda said finally. I know. And I don't trust you. I know that too. But I'm too tired to fight you right now. Something that might have been relief flickered across Seo Jun's face. Then don't. Just rest. Let me handle this. For how long? As long as it takes. Amanda stood, exhaustion pulling at every muscle. I'm going back upstairs. Seo Jun rose with her. If you need anything, I won't. But she paused at the doorway, one hand on the frame, and looked back. Seo Jun. Yes, the baby. She swallowed. His name is going to be Elijah. I decided 2 months ago. She didn't wait for his response. Just climbed the stairs and locked herself in the bedroom, heart pounding, wondering why the hell she'd just told him that. Wondering why it mattered. Downstairs, Seo Jun stood alone in the dining room, staring at nothing. Elijah. His son had a name. And for the first time in 8 months, Kang Seo Jun allowed himself to feel something other than control. Is anyone else feeling this tension? Like, he's trying, but he's also the worst, and I can't tell if I want them together or if Amanda should just take the baby and run. Comment, forgive, or make him suffer. I need to know where you stand. Amanda woke to footsteps outside her door. Not knocking. Just presence. Someone standing there, hesitating. She checked her phone. 2:47 a.m. The footsteps retreated. She lay in the dark, listening to the house settle around her, and wondered if Seo Jun slept at all. Wondered if he stood outside her door every night, or if this was new. Wondered why it made her chest ache instead of making her angry. She hated that she still knew the sound of his walk. Morning came gray and cold. Amanda showered, dressed in the only other clothes she'd packed, leggings and an oversized sweater that barely stretched over her stomach anymore. She felt huge. Ungainly. The baby had been active all night, like he was protesting the change in environment. I know, she murmured, hand on her belly. I don't like it either. Downstairs, the kitchen smelled like coffee and something sweet. Amanda followed the scent and found Seo Jun at the stove, cooking. He'd rolled his sleeves up. No jacket, just a white shirt and dark pants. His hair was slightly mussed, like he'd run his hands through it too many times. He looked almost normal. You cook now? Amanda asked from the doorway. Seo Jun glanced over his shoulder. I learned. When? After you left. The admission hung in the air between them. Amanda didn't know what to do with it, so she sat at the kitchen island and watched him plate what looked like French toast. He set it in front of her. Eat. Is this going to be a theme? You ordering me to eat. Until you start doing it without being told, yes. She picked up her fork. Took a bite. It was good, better than good. Perfectly golden, slight crispness on the edges, topped with fresh fruit and a light dusting of powdered sugar. You really learned to cook, she said quietly. I had a lot of time. Doing what? Running your criminal empire. That? And thinking about you. Amanda's fork paused halfway to her mouth. Don't what? Don't say things like that. Don't act like you spent 8 months pining when you're the one who pushed me away. Seo-jun leaned against the counter, arms crossed. I did both. That doesn't make sense. No, it doesn't. He looked at her, really looked, and there was something raw in his expression. Nothing about what I did makes sense. I know that. But it doesn't make it less true. Amanda set her fork down. What do you want from me, Seo-jun? I want you safe. That's not what I asked. He was quiet for a long moment. Then, I want you to let me fix this. All of it. You can't fix the past 8 months. I know. You can't fix what you said to me. What you made me believe. I know that too. Then what are you trying to fix? Everything else. He moved closer, stopping on the other side of the island. The Choi family. Min-jae. The threats. I want to make it so you can live your life without looking over your shoulder. So our son, his voice caught slightly. So Elijah can grow up without this hanging over him. Our son, Amanda repeated. You keep saying that like you've already decided you're going to be part of his life. I am going to be part of his life. That's not your decision to make. Amanda. No. She stood, suddenly furious. You don't get to do this. You don't get to show up after 8 months and just claim us. Like we're yours. Like you have rights. I'm his father. You're a stranger who happens to share his DNA. The words hit like a slap. Seo-jun's expression didn't change, but she saw his hands tighten on the counter's edge. Is that really what you think? He asked quietly. I don't know what to think. Amanda's voice shook. I don't know you anymore. Maybe I never did. You knew me. I knew someone. But I don't think it was you. Seo-jun circled the island slowly, and Amanda fought the urge to back away. He stopped a few feet from her, close enough that she could see the exhaustion in his eyes, the fine lines at the corners that hadn't been there before. The man you married, he said, the one who took you to that night market in Hongdae and let you teach him how to make your grandmother's cornbread. The one who fell asleep on your couch watching terrible American movies and woke up with you drawing on his face with eyeliner. That was me. Amanda's throat tightened. She remembered that night. Remembered laughing so hard she cried when he'd seen himself in the mirror. The man who told you he'd never felt anything real until he met you, Seo-jun continued. Who asked you to marry him after 3 months because waiting felt impossible. That was me too. Stop. The man who broke your heart 8 months ago, his voice dropped. That was also me. All of it was me, Amanda. I'm not going to stand here and pretend I was 2 different people. I made a choice. The wrong choice. But I made it because I couldn't stand the thought of you dying because of me. So you killed us instead. Yes. The honesty of it stole her breath. I killed us, Seo-jun said quietly. I killed everything we had because I thought it would keep you breathing. And maybe that makes me a monster. Maybe it makes me exactly what you think I am. But I'd do it again, Amanda. If the alternative was your death, I'd do it again. She wanted to hit him. Wanted to scream. Instead, she just stood there, trembling, feeling the baby kick against her ribs like he was protesting on her behalf. I hate you, she whispered. I know. I hate that you're standing here. I hate that you're trying. I hate that some stupid part of me still. She cut herself off. Seo-jun took a step closer. Still what? Nothing. Amanda. Don't. She backed away, hitting the counter. Don't come closer. Don't touch me. Don't. The baby kicked hard, and she gasped, hand flying to her stomach. Seo-jun moved on instinct, reaching for her, but she flinched away. I'm fine, she said quickly. He's been active lately. Does it hurt? No. It's just. She pressed her hand where the baby was moving, feeling the shape of him shifting inside her. He's strong. Seo-jun's eyes were fixed on her stomach. Can I? He stopped himself. Never mind. Amanda knew what he was asking. Knew she should say no. Should keep that boundary firm and unbreachable. But she was tired of being angry. tired of fighting. And some part of her, small, traitorous, wanted him to feel this. Wanted him to understand what he'd missed. "Give me your hand," she said quietly. Seo-jun hesitated, then moved closer, slowly, like he was approaching something wild that might bolt. He held out his hand, and Amanda took it, pressing his palm against the curve of her stomach. They stood like that, not speaking, barely breathing. And then, the baby kicked. Seo-jun's entire body went rigid. His eyes widened, fixed on where his hand pressed against her, and Amanda watched something break across his face. Something that looked like wonder and grief and fear all tangled together. "That's Elijah," Amanda said softly. "That's your son." Seo-jun's hand trembled against her stomach. The baby kicked again, stronger this time, and a sound escaped him, half laugh, half something else. "He's real," Seo-jun whispered. "What did you think he was?" "I don't know. An abstraction. A concept." His thumb moved in a small circle against her stomach, unconscious, gentle. "Not this. Not," his voice broke. "He's real." Amanda felt tears prick her eyes. She blinked them back furiously. "Yeah, he is." They stood frozen in that moment, Seo-jun's hand on her stomach, the baby moving between them like a bridge neither of them knew how to cross. Then Seo-jun did something Amanda didn't expect. He sank to his knees. His forehead pressed against her stomach, his other hand coming up to cradle the curve of her belly, and his shoulders shook with silent, devastating grief. "I'm sorry," he said, voice muffled against her. "I'm so sorry. For all of it. For leaving you alone. For making you carry this by yourself. He broke off. "I'm sorry." Amanda's hands hovered in the air, not sure what to do, where to go. Every instinct screamed at her to push him away, to protect herself. But her hands found his hair instead. Gentle, barely touching. "I know," she whispered. And for the first time since he'd walked back into her life, she almost meant it. "I am not okay after this scene. Are you crying?" "Because I'm crying. Team forgiveness or team make him earn it." 3 days passed in careful silence. Seo-jun gave her space. Amanda took it. They existed in the same house like ghosts circling each other. Separate meals, separate rooms, separate lives intersecting only when necessary. But Amanda noticed things. Coffee made exactly how she liked it, appearing on the kitchen counter every morning. The thermostat adjusted to the temperature she preferred. Fresh flowers in her room, replaced daily. Small things. Silent things. The only language Seo-jun seemed to speak anymore. She didn't thank him. Didn't acknowledge it. But she drank the coffee. On the 4th day, everything changed. Amanda was in the living room, reading a book she'd found on the shelf, when Seo-jun's phone rang. She watched his face transform from neutral to something cold and lethal in the space of a heartbeat. He answered in Korean, voice clipped. Listened. Then his eyes cut to her. "Don't move," he said, still on the phone. Then into it, "How close?" He was moving before he finished speaking, crossing to the window, pulling the curtain back slightly. Amanda's heart kicked into overdrive. "What's wrong?" Seo-jun ended the call. "We have company." "The Choi family?" "No." His voice was ice. "My cousin." Amanda stood, hand pressed to her stomach. "Min-jae is here?" "He's at the gate." Seo-jun was already texting someone, fingers flying across the screen. "He has 5 men with him. Says he needs to speak with me about family business. Are you going to let him in?" "No." Seo-jun looked at her. "But he's not leaving. Which means he knows you're here." "How?" "Someone talked. Or he followed us. Does it matter?" He moved toward her. "I need you to go upstairs. Lock the door. Don't come out until I tell you." "What are you going to do?" "Handle it." Seo-jun. Amanda. His hands found her shoulders, grip firm but careful. "I need you to trust me. Just for this. Please." She saw it then, the fear underneath the control. He was terrified. Not for himself. For her. "Okay," she said quietly. Relief flashed across his face. He started to pull away, then stopped, his hand coming up to cup her cheek. The touch was brief, gentle, and then he was moving toward the door, phone to his ear, barking orders in rapid Korean. Amanda climbed the stairs on shaking legs, locked herself in the bedroom, pressed her ear against the door and listened. Voices downstairs. The front door opening. Then, cousin. Min-jae's voice, smooth as poisoned honey. You're looking well. You have 30 seconds to tell me why you're here before I have my men throw you off the property. So hostile. And here I came to congratulate you. On what? Your impending fatherhood. I have to say, I'm impressed. You managed to keep the American girl alive longer than I expected. Silence. The kind that precedes violence. Careful, Min-jae continued. You wouldn't want to do something rash. Not with her upstairs. Pregnant. Vulnerable. Amanda's blood ran cold. If you came here to threaten her, Seo-jun's voice was lethal. Threaten? No. I came to make a deal. I'm not interested. You haven't heard my offer yet. I don't need to. Your father is dying, cousin. The family will need new leadership. Strong leadership. Someone who doesn't have distractions. Get out. I can protect her. Min-jae's voice changed, sharpened. I can make sure the Choi family never touches her or the baby. All you have to do is step aside. Let me take over when your father passes. Support my claim to the family leadership. You think I'd trade my family for yours? I think you'd do anything to keep her safe. That's your weakness, Seo-jun. Always has been. You care too much. And you don't care at all. That's why you'll never lead this family. Something crashed. Amanda flinched, hand flying to her mouth. You're making a mistake, Min-jae said, voice hard now. The Choi family knows about her. They know about the baby. Do you really think you can protect them both and fight a war? Something will slip. Someone will get through. And when they do, get out. I'll give you 24 hours to think about it. After that, my protection offer expires. And if something happens to your pretty American wife, well, that's on you. Footsteps. The door closing. Then silence. Amanda waited, counting heartbeats, until she heard Seo-jun climbing the stairs. She unlocked the door and found him standing in the hallway, knuckles split and bleeding, breathing hard. Are you okay? She asked. He's gone. I heard what he said. He's lying. Is he? Amanda moved closer, because it sounded like he was telling the truth. About the Choi family. About not being able to protect us both. I'll find a way. How? Seo-jun's jaw worked. He had no answer. Amanda reached for his hand, the bleeding one, and pulled him into the bathroom. She ran water, grabbed a first aid kit from under the sink, and started cleaning his knuckles. He let her, standing perfectly still, watching her face. You hit him, she said. Yes. Did it help? No. She wrapped gauze around his hand, securing it with tape. Her fingers lingered on his wrist, feeling his pulse hammer beneath her touch. What are you going to do? She asked quietly. I don't know. The honesty surprised her. Seo-jun always had a plan. Always had an answer. Maybe Amanda stopped herself. Say it. Maybe Min-jae is right. Maybe you can't do both. I'm not giving you up. You wouldn't be giving me up. You'd be keeping me alive. No. His hand closed around hers, firm, desperate. I won't make that choice again. I can't. Even if it costs us both? Even then. Amanda looked up at him. Really looked. Saw the determination in his eyes, the absolute refusal to bend, and something in her chest cracked open. You're an idiot, she whispered. I know. This is going to end badly. Probably. And you're still not going to walk away. Never. She didn't know who moved first. Maybe both of them. But suddenly his mouth was on hers, hard and desperate and tasting like goodbye. Amanda gasped against his lips, and he used it, deepening the kiss, one hand tangling in her hair while the other splayed across her lower back, pulling her closer, as close as her stomach would allow. She should stop this. Should push him away. Should remember all the reasons this was a terrible idea. She didn't. Her hands found his shirt, fisting in the fabric, holding on like he was the only solid thing in a tilting world. He kissed her like he was drowning, like she was air, like 8 months hadn't passed and broken them both. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Seo-jun pressed his forehead to hers. I'm sorry, he said. I shouldn't have. Shut up. He blinked. What? Just shut up. Amanda's hands were still fisted in his shirt. I'm tired of apologies. I'm tired of you telling me what you should or shouldn't do. If you're going to kiss me, then kiss me. If you're going to fight for us, then fight. But stop apologizing for wanting us. Something ignited in his eyes. Amanda, I don't forgive you, she said. And I don't trust you. But I'm also done pretending I don't still feel something. That I don't still. She couldn't finish. Couldn't say the word. Seo Jun's thumb brushed her cheek. I love you. The words hit like a punch. You don't get to say that. I love you, he repeated. I've loved you since you laughed at my terrible English and taught me to make cornbread. I loved you when I signed those papers. I loved you every day for 8 months. And I'll love you until the day I die, whether you forgive me or not. Tears spilled down Amanda's cheeks. She was crying and she didn't care. You broke my heart. I know. You made me believe you never wanted me. I know. And now you're asking me to believe you again. No. Seo Jun's hands framed her face, gentle, reverent. I'm asking you to let me prove it. Every day. For the rest of my life. However long that is. Amanda closed her eyes. Felt the baby kick between them, reminder of everything at stake. I can't promise I won't hate you tomorrow, she whispered. I'll take it. I can't promise I'll ever forgive you. I'll take that too. She opened her eyes. What if this doesn't work? Then at least we tried. And somehow, impossibly, inexplicably, that was enough. Amanda pulled him down, kissed him again, and let herself fall. Okay, I'm screaming. Are we forgiving him too soon? Is this the worst decision ever? Comment your honest thoughts and subscribe because Min-jae isn't done, and neither is the Choi family. They didn't talk about what happened. Not that night, when Amanda fell asleep in Seo Jun's arms for the first time in 8 months, his hand protective on her stomach. Not the next morning, when she woke alone and found him on the phone in his office, speaking in rapid Korean that sounded like orders and threats. Some things didn't need words. But the shift was undeniable. The careful distance they'd maintained collapsed overnight. Seo Jun touched her now, small things, constant things. His hand at the small of her back when she walked downstairs. Fingers brushing hers when he handed her coffee. His lips against her temple when he thought she wasn't paying attention. Amanda let him. She told herself it was temporary. That once the threat passed, she'd go back to Seoul and rebuild her life without him. That this was just survival, not forgiveness. She was lying. On the 6th day, Dr. Moon arrived. You need a checkup, Seo Jun had said that morning. You haven't seen a doctor since you came back to Seoul. I've been to the clinic. A proper doctor, Amanda. Someone who specializes in high-risk pregnancies. I'm not high risk. You're 7 months pregnant, under extreme stress, and haven't had consistent prenatal care. That's the definition of high risk. She'd wanted to argue. But he was right, and they both knew it. Dr. Moon was a woman in her 50s with kind eyes and no-nonsense efficiency. She set up in one of the villa's spare rooms, transforming it into a makeshift examination space with equipment Amanda didn't want to know how Seo Jun had acquired. Mrs. Kang, Dr. Moon said, gesturing to the exam table. Let's take a look. Amanda climbed up, intensely aware of Seo Jun standing by the door, arms crossed, watching. You can wait outside, Amanda said. I'd rather not. Seo Jun. Please. His voice was quiet. I've missed everything else. Let me be here for this. Dr. Moon looked between them, then smiled slightly. Father's prerogative. Amanda wanted to argue. But when Dr. Moon pulled out the portable ultrasound machine, all thoughts of protest died. Let's see how baby is doing, Dr. Moon said, squirting gel on Amanda's stomach. The probe pressed against her skin and then... Sound filled the room. Fast, rhythmic, impossibly loud. Elijah's heartbeat. Amanda's throat closed. She'd heard it before at the clinic in Seoul, but this time was different. This time Seo Jun was here, and when she glanced at him, she saw his face had gone completely still. Strong heartbeat, Dr. Moon said, moving the probe. Very healthy. Let's check positioning. The screen showed grainy black and white images Amanda had never quite learned to interpret. But Dr. Moon narrated, pointing out the baby's head, his spine, his hands. He's measuring right on track for 28 weeks, Dr. Moon said. Good size, good movement. Everything looks excellent. Can you tell if Seo Jun's voice was rough? He cleared his throat. Can you tell what he looks like? Dr. Moon smiled. Would you like to see his face? She adjusted the probe, and suddenly there he was. Not clear, not perfect, but unmistakably a face. Elijah's profile, tiny nose, lips slightly parted. Amanda's hand flew to her mouth. Seo-jun moved without thinking, crossing to the exam table, his hand finding hers. She let him take it, their fingers lacing together as they stared at the screen. "He's beautiful," Seo-jun whispered. "He looks like an alien," Amanda said, laughing through tears. "A beautiful alien." Dr. Moon printed several images, handed them to Seo-jun with a knowing look. "Everything is healthy. But Amanda, you need to reduce stress. Your blood pressure is elevated. Not dangerously, but enough that I'm concerned." "I'm working on it," Amanda said. "Work harder." Dr. Moon looked at Seo-jun. "That goes for you too. Whatever situation you're in, find a way to minimize her stress. For the baby's sake." "I will," Seo-jun said, and it sounded like a vow. After Dr. Moon left, Amanda found Seo-jun in his office, staring at the ultrasound photos like they held the secrets of the universe. "You okay?" she asked from the doorway. He looked up. "I keep thinking about what I missed. The first ultrasound. Feeling him kick for the first time. Watching you," he stopped. "I missed all of it." "Yeah, you did. I'm sorry. I know." Amanda moved into the room, sat in the chair across from his desk. "But you're here now." "Am I?" Seo-jun set the photos down carefully. "Because it feels like I'm still failing. Min-jae was right. I can't protect you and fight the Choi family. Not effectively. Something will slip. So, what are you going to do?" "End it." Amanda's stomach dropped. "What does that mean?" "I'm going to Seoul tomorrow. I'm going to meet with Choi Dae-jung and negotiate a truce." "A truce." "A way forward that doesn't involve you and Elijah as collateral damage." "And if you won't negotiate?" Seo-jun's expression went cold. "Then I'll make him." "How?" "You don't want to know." "Yes, I do." Amanda leaned forward. "You keep trying to protect me from your world, but I'm already in it. I'm carrying your child. I'm still legally your wife. Whatever happens affects me too. So stop treating me like I'm made of glass and tell me the truth." Seo-jun studied her for a long moment. "Then, the Choi family wants control of the Eastern District. It's prime real estate, highly profitable. My father has been refusing to negotiate for years. If I offer them that territory in exchange for leaving you alone, your father will never agree to that. My father is dying. In 3 months, maybe less, I'll be head of the family. What I say will be law. And Min-jae will be dealt with." The way he said it made Amanda's blood run cold. "What are you going to do to him?" "What he deserves." Seo-jun. "He forged documents. He threatened you. He's been working with the Choi family behind my father's back, giving them information about our operations." Seo-jun's voice was ice. "He's a traitor. And in my world, traitors don't get second chances." Amanda's hands tightened on the armrests. "Are you going to kill him? Do you want me to lie?" "No." "Then yes." Seo-jun met her eyes, unflinching. "I'm going to kill him. Not today, not tomorrow. But soon. Because as long as he's alive, you're not safe." She should be horrified. Should feel something other than this strange, numb acceptance. But all she felt was tired. When, she asked quietly, "After I secure the truce with the Choi family. After I make sure you and Elijah are untouchable." "And then what?" "You just come back here and we pretend you didn't murder your cousin." "I don't expect you to pretend anything." Seo-jun stood, moved around the desk. "I know what I am, Amanda. I've never lied to you about that. I'm not a good man. I do terrible things for terrible reasons. But everything I do, every choice I make, it's to keep you safe. That doesn't make it right. I know." She looked up at him, this man she'd married, this stranger she was learning all over again. "If you do this, if you kill Min-jae, I don't know if I can stay." Something broke in his expression. "I know that too. And you're still going to do it." "Yes." "Why?" "Because if I don't, he'll find another way to hurt you. And I won't survive that." Seo-jun's hand cupped her face, thumb brushing her cheek. "I can survive you leaving me. I can survive you hating me. But I can't survive losing you. Not again." Amanda closed her eyes. "You're asking me to love a killer." "No." His voice was soft. "I'm asking you to love me anyway." The difference was everything and nothing. She stood, and for a moment they just looked at each other. Then Amanda took his hand and placed it on her stomach, where Elijah was moving, restless and alive. "Promise me something," she said. "Anything. Promise me that whatever you do, you'll come back. That you won't get yourself killed trying to protect us." "Amanda, promise me, Seo-jun." "Because her voice broke. "I can't do this alone. I don't want to." His forehead touched hers. "I promise. And promise me that after this is over, we'll figure out what normal looks like. Real normal. Not hiding, not running. Just us. I promise." She didn't know if he could keep those promises. Didn't know if any of this would end the way she desperately hoped. But she kissed him anyway, slow and deep, and let herself believe. That night, Amanda woke to an empty bed. She found Seo-jun on the balcony, overlooking the dark sea, phone pressed to his ear. He was speaking in Korean, voice low and lethal, and even without understanding the words, she knew he was setting things in motion. When he hung up, she wrapped a blanket around her shoulders and joined him. "Can't sleep?" she asked. "Too much to do." "When do you leave?" "Dawn. Less than 3 hours." Amanda moved closer, fitting herself against his side. He wrapped an arm around her automatically, pulling her in, and they stood like that in the cold night air. "I'm scared," she admitted. "Me too. What if something goes wrong?" "It won't." "You can't know that." "No." He pressed a kiss to her hair. "But I'm going to act like I do anyway." Amanda tilted her head up, studied his profile in the moonlight. "I don't want to love you." "I know. But I think I do anyway." Seo-jun went very still. Then he turned, both hands framing her face, and looked at her like she'd just handed him the world. "Say it again," he whispered. "I love you." The words felt like surrender and victory all at once. "I love you, and I hate that I love you, and I'm terrified of what that means. It means you're giving me a second chance. It means I'm an idiot. It means you're brave." He kissed her, soft and reverent. "Braver than I ever was." They went back inside. Back to bed. And when Seo-jun left at dawn, Amanda stood at the window and watched his car disappear down the mountain road, one hand on her stomach, silently begging the universe to bring him home. Seo-jun didn't come home at dawn. He didn't come home at noon. By sunset, Amanda was pacing the living room, phone clutched in her hand, calling his number every 10 minutes. It went straight to voicemail. "Pick up," she whispered. "Please pick up." Nothing. One of Seo-jun's men, Jean, the head of his security, stood by the door, stone-faced. "Where is he?" Amanda demanded. "I don't know." "You're lying." "I'm not." Jin's expression didn't change. "He went into the meeting alone. Told us to wait outside. That was 8 hours ago." Amanda's blood ran cold. "And you just let him?" "He's my boss. I follow orders. Even if those orders get him killed?" Jin's jaw tightened, but he didn't answer. Amanda sank onto the couch, hand pressed to her stomach. Elijah was kicking, agitated, like he could sense her fear. "I'm sorry," she whispered to him. "I'm so sorry." Her phone rang. Amanda nearly dropped it in her scramble to answer. "Seo-jun." "Not quite." Min-jae's voice, smooth and poisonous. "Hello, cousin-in-law." Every hair on Amanda's body stood on end. "Where is he?" "Your husband?" "Oh. He's indisposed at the moment." "What did you do?" "Me? Nothing." But the Choi family was very interested to learn that Seo-jun was willing to give up prime territory to protect you. It made them wonder, how much more would he give to get you back? Amanda's heart stopped. "What are you talking about?" "I'm talking about leverage." Min-jae's voice hardened. "The meeting was a setup, Amanda." Seo-jun walked right into it. "And now the Choi family has him. Which means they have everything. You sold him out." "I made a business decision." Seo-jun was too weak to lead. Too distracted by you. "The family needs someone stronger." "You're insane." "I'm practical." Min-jae paused. "But I'm also feeling generous. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to come to Seoul. You're going to meet me at the address I'm about to send you. And you're going to sign over your parental rights to Elijah. Never. Then Seo-jun dies. Tonight. Slowly. And you'll get to listen to it." Amanda couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. Why would you? Because a baby is leverage. And Seo-jun's baby without you attached? That's an asset. One I can control. His voice dropped. You have 2 hours. Come alone or he dies. Try to bring security, he dies. Call the police, he dies. Are we clear? The line went dead. Amanda stared at her phone, trembling so violently she could barely hold it. Jean was already moving. I'll get a team. No. Amanda stood. He said come alone. You're not seriously considering. He has Seo Jun. And if you go, he'll have you both. Jin's composure cracked. Mrs. Kong, please. Let me handle this. How? You don't even know where they're keeping him. I have contacts. Resources. I can. Amanda's phone buzzed. An address in Seoul. A warehouse district. She looked at Jean. I'm going. You're 7 months pregnant. I'm aware. This is suicide. Then it's suicide. Amanda grabbed her coat. But I'm not letting him die because of me. Not again. Jean stared at her for a long moment. Then, if you're going, I'm coming with you. Hidden. At a distance. But I'm not letting you walk into that alone. Min-jae said. Min-jae is a liar and a traitor. Whatever he promised, he won't keep it. Jean pulled out his phone. I'm calling in the team. We'll stay back, out of sight. But if things go wrong, they won't. If they do, Jean continued, we'll be ready. Amanda nodded. She didn't have the energy to argue. The drive to Seoul was the longest 2 hours of her life. The warehouse was exactly what she expected, abandoned, industrial, the kind of place where bad things happened and no one heard you scream. Amanda walked through the door alone. Inside, Min-jae waited, flanked by 2 men with guns. And behind him, Seo Jun. He was tied to a chair, blood crusted on his temple, one eye swollen shut. But alive. Conscious. And when he saw Amanda, his expression twisted into something between relief and absolute horror. No, he rasped. Amanda, run. One of the men hit him. Seo Jun's head snapped to the side. Stop.